Hi guys, welcome to the Challenge Podcast, the show dedicated to transforming your life. I'm Coach Steve.
And I'm Coach Helen, and we're excited to bring you the best information on exercise, nutrition, mindset and health. Let's get on with the show.
What's up guys, Coach Steve here and welcome to the Challenge Podcast. In this episode, we're continuing the Meet the Challenger series, and today I have with me Manny De Los Angeles. He was one of our top 10 finalists in the Max's Challenge. Manny, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Steve. Happy to be here. Happy to talk to you.
Mate, I'm excited to spend a little bit of time chatting with you. Now, Manny, I know a little bit about you, but I'm sure some people listening, aren't sure who you are. Do you want to start by telling us a little bit about yourself, where you're from and what a normal day looks like for Manny?
Yeah, I'm 36 years old. I'm from Sydney's West. I'm a father of 4 little ones, ranging from 5 to 9. And my work, mate, I do medical sales. So I do a lot of time out on the road. But yeah, busy life, trying to fit in everything all together, including the fitness. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I have a few, I'll say friends, I guess, or people I know who are in medical sales. And it can be quite a tough environment because, you're starting really early and you might be on calls really late in the evening. And because, surgeries happen 24/7, right? You're constantly the guy on call being like, hey, this equipment isn't working, blah, blah, blah. How did you manage that job environment and, still trying to balance a family and then trying to complete this challenge?
Yeah, that's right. So with the job, sometimes you spend days away from home, whether it be regional, bit of travel. Sometimes you need to start pretty early to be in certain places at a certain time. And obviously there's also late finishes too. So, the good thing is I've got a really good support base. My wife is great, obviously, with the kids. And it's just timing, mate. It's just try and find the best balance. You need to be able to fit in time for yourself. I think that's pretty important. It's really easy when you've got little ones. Your priorities change and you focus a lot on the kids. But it's important, I think, just to take time out for yourself, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big advocate for prioritizing your own health. And why? Well, if you can't look after yourself, how could you be in the best position to look after someone else like your kids? And that leads me into the first question. Sure. The first question I want to ask you, Manny, is why did you start the May Challenge?
Yeah, a couple of reasons, actually. So the first thing probably was that I used to be pretty fit and I competed, say, like in kickboxing years ago. I was a PT for a little while as well. So preaching the lifestyle, but over time, life changes. Obviously, we had the kids and settled down and I'd always trained with weights. I'd always trained heavily with weights. And I guess I use that as an excuse to say, yeah, I'm still pretty fit, pretty healthy, but my diet was just really poor. So over time, prioritizing the diet and the whole lifestyle of fitness, went down, made way for other priorities. So my fitness just kind of went out the door. And the breaking point, I suppose if you call it a breaking point for me, was being in my job. I wear a lot of suits and, office attire. I was wearing my pants. My pants were pushing a size 36. And I had never been a size 36 before, and a 36 was actually starting to be a comfortable fit for me. So it was kind of the breaking point for me. I thought, okay, this is getting too far. I need to do something about this now. And I'd known about the Max's Challenge for a while. I'd seen it before. I'd known someone had actually done it and got quite good results from it. So, I looked into it a little bit further, and that obviously brought me here.
Yeah. So you're saying that breaking point was kind of like when your pants were getting a little bit tight on you.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds kind of silly, but that thing that kind of the straw that broke the camel's back just pushed me over the edge.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about your work environment. I guess you're always in suits and I'm picturing this office-like environment. Did you have any temptations with foods? Did you go to events or places where there was catering and lots of cakes and cookies and lots of temptation to push you off of your diet progress?
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
So, even before I started the diet, there were conferences we'd go to, there'd be big exhibitions for a couple of days, and these are normally catered events, and they'd have, the nice exuberant foods.
Exuberant.
And the sweets, the big sweets that would come out, and the drinks and whatnot. Yeah. And then also, if I'm holding a lunch for, say, a client or an account, and I would get some catering done, it's usually what's best available in the area. Yeah. So there's not always the best thoughts going into planning the nutrition, and obviously you try to meet with your clients and accountants and you're eating the food with them. So after a while, it just becomes like a daily thing. You don't even really think about it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can picture how challenging that would be in maybe a sales environment. You know, you're sitting down with lunch with a potential client and it must have been a tough conversation to say, oh, like, I'm not going to, drink with you, or I'm not going to, eat certain foods with you. And I wonder if that would place any stress on the sales prospect. You know, how did you go by having those conversations with some of those people saying that, I'm trying to improve my health and I might not have a drink right now, or I might not choose to eat these foods right now? How did you have that conversation?
Yeah, well, before the challenge, obviously it wasn't an issue. I would eat what they ate, I would drink what they drank, and it was just it was part of my job.
Mm-hmm.
During the challenge, it was a little bit more difficult, but I think one of the biggest things that this challenge has taught me is incorporating a healthier lifestyle. Yeah, so incorporating into your daily life.
Mm-hmm.
So while you lock yourself up into a room and not eat anything for the rest of your life, basically, and eat boiled chicken for the rest of your life. You need to be out there. You need to still live your life. There's other healthier options that you can do while you're out in a restaurant. You know, the person that you're speaking to can still order whatever they want, but you look at different options. You can ask them, just customize a meal a little bit. So, things like a lunch, I would get a piece of fish with vegetables and salad and a bottle of water. And that was completely fine. It was good. It was healthy. And while it wasn't exactly pinpoint to the diet, it was still going by the guidelines. And that's something that I've really learned to do, which is incorporate lifestyle changes, which is great.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big advocate for, I guess, flexible dieting and I guess that 80-20 principle, because you're right. Like, we can't lock ourselves in a room and just take away lots of food groups. You can't be sitting there eating boiled chicken and raw broccoli for the rest of your life, right? Things happen in our life.
That's right.
The
That's
successful transformation is that 80-20 idea where 80% of your food is, good quality food. And then 20% of it may be, okay, I am going to have like a burger. This is fine. I am going to have a little slice of cake because it's my kid's birthday. That's fine, as long as the majority of your food is good quality food. And like you said, maybe the meal you chose wasn't 110% challenge approved, but it was right on the edge. And, that consistently is going to be better than, doing 110% for a week or two and then just having a blowout of a big weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Right.
My last follow-up question here, Manny, is, you said you spend a little bit of time traveling and you're always on the road and you're probably visiting new places all the time. How did you manage your, let's say, meal prep or food? How did you manage your nutrition intake while being on the road and maybe, driving a lot and, maybe not having access to places like fridges and your own cooked food?
Yeah, so preparation was key and it was huge. Definitely when I was preparing for a regional trip or a trip out on the road, if I was going to be away for either the whole day or a couple of days. So my wife and I, and obviously she was a great support for me because, she would help with the preparation. But preparing the food in bulk lots, and I think looking at the side, a lot of people are doing this, which is great. But pre-preparing everything, having these set out separately, and then actually looking at your movements for the next couple of days. So what I would do is I would have a little portable esky. I would have my food in little plastic containers. I would have my almonds, my nuts. That was my little snack in a plastic bag in there as well. And I would take that with me out on the road. So if I was out in between clients, I would sit down, stop somewhere and have my meals. Wasn't always a microwave available, so it might be cold, but that was completely fine with me. Worst case scenario is I would be out and about. And like I said, I couldn't not have something. I wanted to keep that burn going, maintain the metabolism. So I would go out and get, say, a Subway salad and have it all completely stripped back. So no toppings, no sauces or anything like that. Just have the salads, the vegetables, and the meat, and just the chicken, and have that as a substitute. And while it was not perfect, it was still something that I could have while I'm out on the road, and it still obviously ticked that box for me.
Yeah. Now, Manny, my next question here, and you kind of answered it a little bit. I want to ask you what your biggest challenge has been over the past 12 weeks.
Biggest challenge, I would say, was just breaking old habits. You'd have such a busy day that at the end of the day, it was the best thing just to relax, say, in front of the TV, grab a packet of chips or a chocolate bar or something like that and just sit down in front of the TV and watch it. And because it was part of my routine, because my days were so busy, having the kids after bed, that's like your relaxing time, that's your downtime. So that's the time that you want to just do the things that you want to do. And grabbing a packet of chips in front of the TV was so simple and so easy. But again, after time, that builds up and it just creates bad habits. So getting rid of those altogether or just changing that habit altogether is probably one of the most difficult.
Yeah. Well, my first follow-up question to that is, how did you break those habits? What did you do?
Well, the good thing is I loved the diet. I thought it was so great. I've done challenges before and they just weren't sustainable. Like they just were not sustainable. It was basically almost like a cookie cutter diet plan that you'd follow day in, day out. And yes, I got great results from it, but it wasn't sustainable. So afterwards, the weight just slowly piled back on. But with this diet, there was so much variety. And at the end of the day, after your final meal, what I would have, and I think what saved me definitely, was having the protein mug cakes. They were just the best thing ever. Something so simple, bit of protein, bit of water, bit of baking powder. That was almost like a dessert in itself. And then by the time you go to bed, BCAAs and night protein, and that just kind of filled me up. So, you know, it was kind of substituting a bad behavior for a better option. And then that was changing that routine altogether anyway.
Yeah, that's a very smart approach. And if you've read a book like The Power of Habit, it talks about the idea of like a cue, a behavior, then a reward. So you might have had a cue, oh, I want downtime, or I'm going to sit on the couch. And then the behavior would have been, you know, to eat some chips, for example. And the reward could have been the feeling of family that you'd sat with your kids and you watched TV and you bonded a little bit. But what you've done is you replaced that behavior of eating chips with, you know, having something a little bit better like that mug cake. And you've got the same reward of bonding with your kids. So you've successfully replaced that behavior with a new one. And that's really important, where it's very, very, very difficult to completely get rid of a behavior or a habit or a routine. It's much better to replace it with something. And that's exactly what you've done, Manny.
Yeah, it was much easier when I was able to substitute, definitely.
Yeah. Now, my next question is, what has been your biggest win over the past 12 weeks?
There's been a few, mate. So it's been really good. Like, this challenge has done a lot of things, lifestyle for me, with the family as well. I was seeing bad habits creep into everything that we did, as well as what the kids were doing too. And that was, you know, monkey see, monkey do. So if I was grabbing a piece of chocolate, you know, in the cupboard, I'd see sometimes the kids would do the same thing, and that was okay because Dad was doing it. So I guess the biggest win for me is that my approach to eating and everything sort of changed. That's rubbed off onto the kids. And while I would never put my kids into a position and say, look, don't eat that, that's going to make you, you know, it's bad for you, don't eat that, don't eat this. I just want them to see the behaviors that we do, to show them that, you know, there are better options, there are better things that you can have. So instead of having a piece of chocolate, you know, have a piece of fruit instead of lounging in front of the TV or have an iPad time, let's go outside and kick the ball. So, you know, it's given me a lot more energy now to spend time with my kids when I do have that downtime. And it's just taught them some better behaviors that I hope obviously will stick. And yeah, just something that they can follow in the future.
Yeah, it's quite rewarding to be a role model, hey?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, Manny, now that you've made the top 10 and you've made an amazing transformation, where to from here? Like, what's your long-term goal? What's your fitness goal? Like, where to from here?
Yeah, so it's something I've wanted to do for a long time, but I've never had that sort of kick motivation to do it. But I want to jump on stage and do a men's physique competition or men's fitness model competition. There's a couple towards the end of the year that I'm aiming for. I've found a bodybuilding coach, which is going to help me on that journey, on that pathway. So I'm looking forward to getting on stage, hopefully before the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that you said it on the podcast, and now you probably have a couple of dozen people egging you on, you kind of have to do it now.
Yeah, I'm committed to it now.
Yeah.
It's been recorded.
Well, yeah, I definitely want to see some of your action shots. So I would love for you to still be active in our community, and let's see some photos of Manny up on stage, hey?
Yeah, no, I will, definitely. I'm committed to it now, so I have to do it.
Yeah. And you're coming back as one of our ambassadors for the September challenge, correct?
Yes. So obviously happy to just to assist. And, you know, people are going through the same thing that I went through initially, and some of the difficulties and challenges. I'm obviously just happy to be able to pass on and help wherever I can.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to you being able to help a lot of people. Now, my last question here, Manny, is do you have any advice for anyone who's listening who is, you know, currently doing the challenge or is thinking about doing the challenge or are just interested in improving their fitness and health? Do you have any other advice that you would offer?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I think a few people have said it now, but if you're doing the challenge, just stick to the plan. You know, the results will come. It's a tried and true method that other people have found success on. You know, you just need to look at the other guys who've completed the challenge and done amazing transformations. So stick to the diet, stick to the training plan, and the results will come. It especially gets difficult midway through. I know that for myself, I started to feel the changes 1 to 2 weeks into it. But when I look at photos, I look in the mirror, the changes weren't there, and I was kind of disappointed. It can get pretty disheartening. Mm-hmm. But just stick to it, and the results will come. Around 8 to 10 weeks into it, I was like, geez, okay, I will do comparison shots, and yeah, they definitely will come. So stick to it. There's some great support, definitely on the Facebook page, and there's a lot of people who are going through what you've gone through. So don't be afraid, and definitely give it a go.
Yeah, that's some great advice, mate. I still remember when your photo popped up. I didn't see many of your posts until about that week 10, 11 mark, and you just roared onto the scene, and you got lots of love with that photo that you posted on the Facebook group.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether I was going to post anything like that. You know, you put yourself out there. There's not much to hide when you put a photo of yourself in your undies. But I think, everyone should be proud of the results that you get. And there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to share that with people that are going through the same thing with you. So, yeah, I put that up and I was, happy with it.
Yeah. It does take a lot of courage to be able to post something like that. And yeah, congratulations for posting that. And, it really does help you to take ownership of your past and then take ownership of your future, because you've earned the results that you got and you definitely worked hard for it. So own that, and once again, congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's been awesome.
Really well, look, I'm looking forward to seeing some photos of you stepping up on stage, and looking forward to seeing you helping some of our challenges as an ambassador. And I want to thank you so much for donating some of your time to be part of the Challenge podcast.
No worries. Yeah, obviously happy to do it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to being an ambassador and helping other people on their journey as well.
Awesome, Manny. Thank you so much. I'll chat to you sometime soon.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks for listening, guys. If you like the show, share it with a friend or leave us a review on iTunes to help us spread the good word.
See you next time.